Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Guru MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. Gentlemen, normally we would start with NXT, then we would do AEW Dynamite. However, tonight we also had an event that actually went down on Sunday night that we need to review first. So we're going to start it off with AEW Revolution. The show went down from the Edition Financial Arena in Orlando, Florida. This was exclusively on pay per view, or if you had BR Live, or if you were outside of the United States on Fight TV. It was also on Sling TV as well. So we started it off with Eddie Kingston going one-on-one with Chris Jericho. Eddie Kingston wins the match via submission in 13 minutes and 40 seconds. A heck of an opener. A very good match. A great way to start the show. And it was what it expected it to be. A man fight. Straight up, in your face. They brawled, battled it out. Amazing battle. And Eddie Kingston gets a huge win in the process. We were waiting for this one. We're thinking, Eddie hasn't won the big one yet. He got his first significant victory in AEW, taking down Le Champion and the leader of the crew. And yeah, amazing match. 3 to 3.5 stars for me, Anthony Florio. The Inner Circle leader, Chris Jericho, taps out. Thanks to Eddie Kingston, Eddie gets a monumental win for his AEW career. Biggest win of his career.
Yeah, you just beat me to it. Biggest win for Eddie Kingston to date, no doubt about it. With all due respect, you underscored this about him, Matt. This was a 4-star match for me. Was it really unexpected for Jericho not to put Kingston further over after this defeat? It's open to debate, but the dismissal of a handshake after the match leaves the story open-ended for another bout between the two. And yeah, great match. Definitely was a man fight. Great way to jump off this great event on this past Sunday night. So biggest win for Eddie Kingston to date. Maybe it'll lead to bigger wins down the road. We'll see. But it's a 4-star match for me. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
I thought this was a good match to start it off, and I'll give it about maybe 3.5 to 4 when it comes to this. This is definitely a really big win here for Eddie Kingston against someone like Chris Jericho. So yeah, I mean, could it lead to bigger things for Eddie Kingston down the line? We'll find out. So nothing more to say, Fletch. Let's move on.
All right, and then we do indeed move on. Anthony Florio will lead off on this one. The AEW World Tag Team titles on the line, as it was Jurassic Express putting the titles on the line against Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. And it was Jurassic Express getting the win successfully, defending the titles 18 minutes, 55 seconds. Anthony Florio, the champions remain the champions.
This is one of my top 3 fights of the night. This is between 4.25 to 4.5 stars. The story of this match was, can the Young Bucks and Red Dragon work together without costing each other the tag titles? As soon as they started preventing each other from getting the pin, you could tell it was just a matter of time before their alliance broke down. It was destined to end badly from the start. Why would 2 teams be able to work together if only one can win? We've seen this same type of match a million times, but these 3 teams still managed to make it fun. AEW has put on some wild tag team matches before, so this one had a lot to live up to. Maybe it had too many moving parts, who's to say? Even if it wasn't the match of the night, it was still quite great. And Jungle Boy, once again, the standout in this. 4.25, teetering on 4.5. One of my top fights of the night for sure. No doubt about it. Michael Bullock, champions stay the champions, as MF said.
Yep, they stay the champions, and probably the biggest win uh, for for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus as the champs. I mean, when you're going up against caliber tag teams like Red Dragon, and of course, probably one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling, and the Young Bucks, that's pretty much says something. So yeah, and I think this is, I mean, it's only going to lead to the eventual implosion when it comes to Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. So we'll wait and see what happens. So there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So Fletch, it's yours. 4.5.
Yeah, meaningful win for Luchasaurus and for Jungle Boy. It now makes their reign even more legitimate. When you win a match like this, when you win it in the way that you did, and to successfully defend the titles in that type of fashion, I don't know what there is to say, guys. You absolutely are right. This was at least a 4-star match for me. And now we go into the next battle of the night, where it was Warlow, Christian Cage, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Ricky Starks in the face of the Revolution matchup, where the winner gets a future title shot at the TNT Championship, and the winner of that match and the face of the Revolution is Warlow. 17 minutes, 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours. Warlow, the face of the Revolution. And now, the next contender, depending on the outcome of Sammy Guevara versus Scorpio Sky, we'll get into that later tonight. But the winner of that match now has to face Wardlow for the TNT title.
Yeah, to me, obviously, this is another really good match here. I mean, obviously, I mean, all the things that we saw in this made this to be a really good Face of the Revolution ladder match. And to me, I'll say this has got to be the biggest win for Wardlow, because now he gets that opportunity at the TNT Championship, whoever that may be. So, and I think, to me, I mean, but yeah, I mean, this, like I said, this is without a doubt the biggest win for Wardlow. But could it lead to a bigger win somewhere down the line? We'll only find out. I'm gonna give this about maybe, I'll give this three, somewhere between 3.5 to 4. So that's why I'm gonna go with it. So Fletch, Wardlow, he picks up the biggest win of his career, but it could lead to a bigger win somewhere down the line.
Somewhere down the line, a bigger win definitely within his reach now. Warlow had at least a 4 to 4.25 star performance. This was an excellent match. I don't think there's anything to say. This was as good as if it gotten. Tremendous match, to say the very least. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
What's your rating, MF?
4 to 4.25.
Agreed. Um, wow. When it comes to multi-man ladder matches, you are never going to get a ton of psychology in the match. This is all about big spots and memorable moments. Once you can accept that, a bout like this is a ton of fun. AEW did a good job balancing it out, so everyone had a few moments to shine. But Wardlow was the standout. He had some of the best spots and the support of the crowd. It was a good move backing him, or I should say it was a good move booking him to win, because now he and MJF can work toward their eventual breakup. So there isn't much more to say on this. 4 to 4.25, and the hits just keep on coming. So with that being said, MF, next match.
Yeah, the hits do indeed keep on coming, as it was Jay Cargill versus Ty Conti, the TBS title on the line. Jay Cargill wins the match in 6 minutes and 50 seconds. By default, this was the worst fight of the evening, but there was nothing bad about this match. This was an excellent 3-star battle, 3 to 3.25 stars. It started with a kiss at the beginning that, okay, I think us fellas were like, whoa, oh, okay, let's go.
Hey
Caught,
now.
yeah, caught us all by surprise, and we were like, that's an interesting way to jump off a match. All right, with a little kiss. But, once we got into the action, it was good. Ty definitely was helped Jade look really good in this. And there was a moment where we all thought Ty was going to win the belt. There was a moment where we're like, oh my God, is Ty going to win the championship? But then she made a mistake, got caught, and Jade, being that wily veteran, being as dominant as she did, caught Ty, put her away with her finisher. 1, 2, 3. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, the champion remains the champion again. 29-0, still undefeated, still the undisputed TBS champion, Anthony Florio. Who in the heck is going to knock off Jade Cargill? Because right now, she's not only the best TBS champion out there, maybe next to Dr. Britt Baker, probably the best wrestler in the female division in AEW, and is already climbing up the ladder for Female Wrestler of the Year.
Definitely making a push towards it, no doubt. Excuse me. This was the first real test Jade Cargill has had since winning the TBS championship 2 months ago. Ever since then, she has had mostly squash matches. She and Ty Conti did a good job keeping this match competitive, but it felt like there was a lack of chemistry at times. They worked well together, but not as well as you would hope for a pay-per-view bout. The problem is the bar for AEW pay-per-view matches is so high that it's hard for anyone who is not a skilled veteran to stand out. Cargill and Conti would have stolen the show on an episode of Rampage, but on a pay-per-view, they will end up falling somewhere in the middle of the pack. But in this case, it is by default the worst fight of the night. I think you overscored it a little, MF. 2.5 to 2 3/4 for me. So, but I do agree, it is by default the worst fight of the night. So, no one's going to stop Jade Cargill. Michael Bullock, in the immortal words of JBL, after your man, The Undertaker, won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 23, Jade Cargill, she's going to hold that thing as long as she wants to.
And by the way, Florio, just to get a little off that, I just watched that match. How ironic you brought that up. So yeah, 2.5 to 3 is my rating for this. I mean, yeah, Ty Conti, I thought made Jade Cargill look really good here, and yeah, there was certain points of the match where it looked like she was gonna pull it out, but Jade Cargill, no surprise, retains the title. And the question now is, guys, who's next? I mean, because unless someone out there can step up to the plate and be the next one to challenge her, she's going to hold on to that title as long as she wants to. Because, Fletch, what does Jade Cargill always like to say?
Go ahead, Bullock. I'll let you say it.
Because it's that bitch show that she always likes to say.
Yep.
And it's going to continue to be her show as long as she wants to. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, it's her world, and we are all just living it right about now, man. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. She is the creme a la creme right now in AEW, and she has proven to be, without a doubt, the best in the world. So, speaking of best in the world and amazing, it was the dog collar match. It was MJF versus CM Punk. So much nostalgia at the very beginning of the match for me. I was losing my flipping mind. This was not the CM Punk that Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock knows. What AEW did was a stroke of genius. They gave us the Ring of Honor CM Punk. They gave us the Second City Saint CM Punk. With the mystery and kata, with that song hitting, Dude, I literally was losing my mind. Winner of the bout in 26 minutes, 45 seconds, the Second City Saint, the best in the world, CM Punk. Anthony, it's yours.
I think we're all in agreement. This was the fight of the night right here.
Agreed.
I mean, MF. I mean, I saw you. I saw your post on Facebook, and all I know is I know that had to be. I know that was definitely a mark out moment for you. I mean, I never saw this CM Punk. Neither did Michael Bullock. I mean, because we're not ROH guys like MF is, but I know that was definitely a mark out moment for MF. No question about that. I was like, what in the world is this? And then when MF posted it, I'm like, all right, I get it now.
The minute I started hearing the music, and it wasn't, but when I started hearing, when I heard that I was like, no, get the F out, no way. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. If
Fletcher was, Fletcher was marking out, folks.
Oh yeah, I was watching it with a couple of buddies on my Discord, and we all started freaking out. We know that song, we know that music, and when Punk came out, it is without a doubt one of the biggest. Like I literally. Like, I couldn't hold my excitement, man. I was losing it.
Bouncing around like Tigger?
Yeah. The only other time I've ever marked out this hard was it when Nakamura debuted in WWE. It was that kind of level of a mark out for me. There's not many things that can get me. This got me. This moment got me. I could not believe they pulled this. AEW, you sons of a you-know-what. Sometimes I've been very harsh on you guys. But dude, you won me over that moment. You won me that night for that moment.
Absolutely. So what do we think? Do we pull a trigger on this? I mean,
I say yes.
I would.
Do it. It deserves it.
5-star classic. I mean, this was the fight of the night. This stole the damn show. If the ladder match was all about big spots with no story, this dog collar contest was all about the story with only a minimal amount of high spots used to accentuate the action. Both men were verbal throughout. Blood was spilled. The chain was used in creative ways, and Punk included several callbacks to his Ring of Honor days with his gear and entrance. It all meshed together to create an intriguing and bloody performance. Your opinion on blood in wrestling will have an impact on how much you enjoyed this one. If you don't mind blood, this was a blast. The pace, the only small thing I have is the pace slowed a bit too much at times, but that felt intentional to sell the weight of their injuries. It's not as much a complaint as a preference. And the Wardlow face turn is going to be a hot topic moving forward, especially tonight. So we'll get more into that later. But for right now, 5-star classic. I mean, stole the damn show. And there's only been a handful of these matches in professional wrestling history. You go back to the very first Starrcade, 1983. Then United States Heavyweight Champion Greg the Hammer Valentine against Rowdy Roddy Piper. And believe it or not, the title was not on the line. Should have been. But that's just my take on it. And then the other, of course, was in AEW when the late, great Mr. Brody Lee defended the TNT Championship and lost it to Cody Rhodes on a Dynamite at the Daily's place, summer of 2020 or summer or fall. But nonetheless, this might have been the best one of them all. So, 5-star classic, fight of the night. Wardlow's a face now. So, wow, what a Michael Bullock. I don't know what else there is to say except in the immortal words of the late great Regis Philbin. How do you follow that? My gosh.
I don't even know how in the world you follow that. I mean, that was one of the most brutal dog collar matches in a while. I mean, this to me was one of the definitions of hardcore right here. I mean, blood was spilled. We saw thumbtacks being used, so many things, and yeah, when it comes to this ROH CM Punk that we saw, I mean, let's just say, guys, MJF, he opened up something that he probably wished he didn't. He opened up a side of CM Punk that we hadn't seen in a long time, and that was the ROH version, and that one there is really, really dangerous. And MJF found out the hard way what happens. But man, oh man, what a match this was. We knew this match was going to steal the damn show, and by golly, it did. 5-star classic, fight of the night, hands down. Fletch, I think MJF learned a valuable lesson. You do not open up Pandora's box when it comes to CM Punk, because he unleashed a side that we hadn't seen in a long time, and he learned it the hard way.
Yeah, and I love the callbacks, especially for me when I talk about Honor Lives with Ring of Honor. And oddly enough, CM Punk is one of the first inductees into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. They actually just announced it. There are guys who are that's going to be going into the Hall of Fame very soon, and one of the inductees is actually CM Punk, and it's well deserved. It's a great honor, and for me, Punk is without a doubt one of the best in the world, and he proved it. He went above and beyond the Call of Duty with this one. This was a hell of a match. And the thing is, a lot of things was accomplished. One, the rivalry between CM Punk and MJF is now over. I think we can all agree with that. That's going to move on, and we're going to see what happens next. Number two, Wardlow. The moment that he could not find the Dynamite Diamond ring where MJF was like, give me the ring, I'm going to end it here. And Wardlow was fumbling around. He's like, oh, shoot, I don't got the ring. And then Punk hits MJF. The next thing we know, Wardlow's like, the ring's right here. I have it. Tosses it in the ring, basically telling Punk, like, go ahead. Use it if you want to. Sure enough, he did. And we all saw the end result on that one. Excellent, excellent, excellent match. The body of work, the way that they told the story. Yes, there was some slow spots. You can make an argument that this is not 5 stars. You can. You can say this is easily 4.5. 4 3/4. But here's the thing. Wardlow never really got involved in the fight. Yes, he was there for the moment, but it also pushed another narrative, another story. That's why we're not penalizing this like we normally would, because one gripe that Anthony had is valid. The pacing. It was slowed. You could easily make an argument that it doesn't deserve the 5 stars because of that. Then with Wardlow. But Wardlow never physically got involved, which I think we all can agree was perfectly fine what he did, because he never physically got involved. And he never really got involved in the match except for the moment where he threw the ring in. Now, you can gripe about Punk winning it that way, but it never really was an actual outcome. So For all that, you get the 5-star rating. Plain and simple. So next up, guys, was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, going against Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's World Title. The winner and still champion, Dr. Britt Baker. She wins it in 17 minutes and 25 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
What was the time of the fall?
17:25.
Yeah, I thought this was a good, solid match here between these two. Yeah, I'll give it about maybe another maybe 3.5 to 4 when it comes to this. And yeah, Dr. Britt Baker going over for me is the right call here. I mean, and it just continues to show that with her asserting her dominance in the women's division right now in AEW. So now the question is, who's going to be the next person to step up to her? We'll have to wait and see on that. But for right now, 3.5 to 4, and Fletch, as I give it to you, it's just another victory for Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yep, it is. No doubt about it. I could give you the 3-star rating. I totally agree with that as well. But the only thing was way too much interference by Jamie Hayter and Rebel. You didn't need all that. I know you want to paint the narrative of Thunder Rosa being a fighting competitor and everything else, but dude, that was just way too much interference. I wasn't really as enthralled with the outcome. Sorry to say. I'll give you the 3, but that should have been a lot more higher than it was, and I was definitely not as happy with the way that it ended. Anthony Florio, I'm kind of guessing you're going to agree with my thoughts on that one.
Actually, Fletch, before that, I got to stand corrected. It's 3.5 for me because, I mean, like you said, just way too much interference in this. So now, Florio, it's your.
I'm with MF, 3, maybe 3.25. This match had a couple of pacing issues, but as a whole, it was an enjoyable performance that highlighted the abilities of both women as well as could be expected. We have seen better matches from both of these women with other competitors and with each other, but this was a worthy addition to their series. It just won't go down as the best of the bunch. For some odd reason, it felt like they were holding back or they wore themselves out earlier than expected. So, solid 3 from me, maybe 3.25 at best, but MF had this one. So, with that being said, let's move on.
Next up, we have with Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Jon Moxley wins the match in 21 minutes and 5 seconds. 4.5 stars. Excellent match. Incredible wrestling. This was what you expected the match to be. A brawler versus a technical wrestler. This had everything going. But then after the match was over, there was still the fighting. There was still the brawling at the end. What's this? Mr. William Regal shows up in AEW? Yes, he did, folks. He's all elite now. And there was that one moment where Regal gets to Moxley, slaps him in the face, and then gives him a little bit of a headbutt. Then he slaps the daylights out of Bryan Danielson. Next thing you know, he's like, "Yo, shake hands, shake on it, and you two should be better than this." They shook on it, and that was it. Anthony Florio, amazing match, but it's what happened after the match that got a lot of people talking.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with your lordship now in the fold, I mean, whoa. Definitely a game changer here, no doubt about that. But this was the second best fight of the night, 4.5 stars. This started out as a wrestling match, but the longer they went, the more it turned into a straight up fight. They were barely holding back their strikes, and it made for quite the show. Once both men started bleeding, you could see them beginning to plan for the finish. They fought for quite some time, but that was the moment they began using everything in their arsenal to take each other out. Jon Moxley's love for violence has been well documented in AEW, but this was one of the first times we have gotten to see Bryan Danielson embrace this side of his personality since he joined WWE all those years ago. This proved he can hang with hardcore legends and technicians alike. And we'll have more on this development later on when we talk about Dynamite, but man alive, I mean, what a match. I mean, I would, if it wasn't for that dog collar match, this would have been the fight of the night for me. But I can only give it second best fight of the night. Second best fight of the night honors. 4.5 stars for me. And Michael Bullock, your longtime general manager and authority figure, is now All Elite.
Yeah, I mean that was surprising. I mean to see him there, but it looks like he's gonna get these two to be on the same page. I mean, we'll wait and see how this works out, and we'll get into it more when we review Dynamite later on. So, 4.5 stars for me. What a match this was, and I mean, like you said, if it weren't for the dog collar match, this would have been the fight of the night. I mean, but it's only good for second best fight of the night here. But it was well enjoyable with these two. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on.
All right, we only got maybe a couple of more matches left on the card. Next up, we had was a six-man tornado tag team, as it was the Andrade and Hardy family office. Andrade El Idolo, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy. They went up against Sammy Guevara, the TNT champion, Sting, and Darby Allin. The face team, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting wins it in 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Anthony, I believe this goes to you.
Yes, it does. Another 3 to 3.25 star match. Other than some of the bigger spots that were clearly planned in advance involving a variety of weapons, this match was just a jumble of different people fighting in different places. It had its fun moments, but felt a bit overbooked at times. Darby Allin misjudged the distance for the finish, so he almost ended up missing Matt Hardy completely. But don't let this rating fool you, though. This was a lot of fun, but it just wasn't a cohesive match in any way. It was mayhem, but in a good way. But of course, the one highlight that we're all going to be talking about in this match, 62-year-old Steve Borden, a.k.a. Sting. Guys, what was that bump? What was that bump?
Dude, Sting, you are a freaking animal, man.
62 years old?
Yeah.
He's a bump like that.
He's a nut. And then on top of that, Sammy Guevara, what were you thinking with that freaking Spanish fly?
Oh.
What were you thinking? Oh my God.
Adios mio.
Yeah, adios mio. Oh, Dios mio. As I would have said on commentary.
Yeah.
I mean, for Sting, that's like committing career suicide.
But hey, whatever. Who are we to tell him what he can and can't do? He's a Hall of Famer and a legend, for goodness sakes. But my God, I mean, 62 years old and taking a bump like that. If it was one of us, we'd be damn near dead. But my God, unbelievable. This is why I gain more and more respect for that man every time I see him work. I mean, he's taking bumps like he's friggin' 30 again. Unbelievable. But anyways, 3 to 3.25 stars. But Michael Bullock, I mean, for me, yeah, you had the Sammy Guevara Spanish fly, yes, but in all honesty, Bullock and MF, I mean, and Bullock, as I give it to you, the spot of the match, hands down, was that Sting bump. on Andrade through all those tables. My God, I'm never gonna get over that.
I mean, who's not going to get over that? I mean, that was just freaking crazy. I mean, hands down. So, what was your rating, Florio?
Glad you asked. 3 to 3.25.
All right, I was just wondering because I wasn't quite sure if you did or not, but yeah, 3.25. I agree with the rating on that, but yeah, there's really nothing more to say about it. I mean, Fletch, it is yours.
I agree. Three to 3.25. This was an excellent match. I don't think there's really anything more to say on that one, guys. So now this leads us to the main event of the evening, the AEW World Heavyweight title on the line. The champion, Adam Hangman Page. The challenger is Adam Cole. Winner of the bout, 25 minutes, 45 seconds, and still the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the Hangman Adam Page. I believe this goes to Michael Bullock. Mike Bullock, cowboy shit, still running AEW.
Oh yes, that cowboy shit is still running strong in AEW as its champion. So, I mean, this to me was another really good match here. A good way to close out. 4.5 is my rating. I mean, we knew this was going to be something good when it comes to these two, and they certainly deliver. So, yeah. So now the big question is, what's next up for Hangman Adam Page? Who's going to be the next in line to challenge him for the AEW World Title? So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add to this. Fletch, tonight, I mean Sunday night, it was all about that cowboy shit.
Yes, it was, and it definitely was. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan of this guy. He is, you know, I don't know what it is about him, but he is without a doubt the best in right now. I'm so glad he's still the champion. I told him I didn't want him to lose the belt, and he didn't. And now here we are, man. We're looking at literally the best right now in AEW. Adam Cole, hell of a performance, but honestly, I didn't think in my mind that he was gonna lose here. So Anthony, 4.25, 4.5. But at the end of the night, the man that I was hoping for to stay the champion remains the champion. Nothing more. It's yours.
You weren't the only one, MF, and I'm as much of a fan of him as I'm a fan. I'm just as much of a Hangman fan as you are, MF. I mean, you know his body of work more than Bullock and I do, because here you go. Here's another ROH guy. He was an ROH mainstay.
Yes, he was.
Was he ever their world champion? I'm sure he was.
No, never was.
Oh wow.
He never won actually, the first world championship he ever won was when he became the AEW heavyweight champion.
Wow.
He's never won a world title.
That is something. But I know Adam Cole was an ROH champion.
Yes, so, a 3-time champion as a matter of fact.
I could go as far as to call this an MF special, because MF, you know the body of work of these two guys from their ROH days, and
yes.
But just like you, I like Hangman's abilities, but I also love, when he brings that, that heart and soul, when he brings that that fire and intensity when he cuts promos, be a man stuff, as I call it. And cutting a promo like a family man would. That's exactly how I would do it if it was me. But anyways, that little thing aside, I agree with the rating, 4.25 to 4.5. Other bouts on the card might have included more exciting spots, more blood, and more weapons, but this match had the easiest story to follow and managed to be just as entertaining as anything else on the night. Even with all of the other big showdowns on the card, this still felt like the match that most deserved to be the main event. They more than lived up to expectations and put on an awesome show for the fans. There were 1 or 2 moments you could pick out as errors, but there were 10 times as many moments you could point to as being great. So, nothing really more to say here. 4.25 to 4.5. And, Bullock started it. So, MF gets to start the overall review. But I think we're all in agreement. Another home run for AEW, I'm sure.
This was easily 8.5 to 9 out of 10. There was a couple of moments that wasn't perfect. I'm not gonna be too harsh, but overall, excellent pay-per-view. The surprises, though, were a little few and far. I think we were expecting some big bombs to drop. The only one we had was Isaiah Swerve. Strickland, he showed up, signed a contract with AEW. That was cool. Of course, the William Regal moment was also cool, but I think we were looking for a bigger bomb, and we didn't really get it. So I mean, it was good for what it was worth. It was excellent. Really nothing more to say. So, Anthony, it is yours. I give it 8.5 to 9.
100% agree. 8.5 to 9. This might not go down as the best AEW pay-per-view of all time, but it certainly had a lot of memorable matches. It will likely be considered a top 5 event for many fans. Only 1 or 2 results could be considered surprising, but almost everything made sense from a booking standpoint. And dog collar match was the fight of the night. Close second would be Moxley and Danielson. And rounding out the top 3, I mean, you could maybe make an argument for the tag team title match or maybe the world title match or something like that. But every match on this card was solid to good to great. I mean, the worst fight of the night easily was the TBS women's title match with Cargill and Conti. Even though it wasn't remotely bad, it just had the shortest time, and it just felt like the worst fight of the night in our book, default. So anytime you have a default worst fight of the night, that's when you know you're doing something right. So 8.5 to 9, I 100% agree with MF's rating. So Michael Bullock, let's get your quick thought, and then we'll move on to your show NXT 2.0.
Yeah, 8.5 to 9. I mean, I thought this was a very good Revolution pay-per-view. I mean, every match here was solid to good to great. I mean, and like you said, the worst fight of the night was that TBS title match, even though it wasn't even remotely bad at all. So, kudos to AEW for putting on a good show. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. And let's get to NXT, Fletch. And let's just say when we get to the end, I'm going to have something to say about the end. And it's not going to be for the weak of heart.
He's going to have a few choice words, folks.
All right, guys. So with that said, yeah, we're gonna dive right into to the NXT show. Just give me 1 second so I can bring it up. NXT, and here we go. All right, it is Roadblock time. So this was the Roadblock show that went down last night. And when we started it off with our first fight of the evening, the semifinal of the Dusty Classic, as it was Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez going up against Dakota Kai and Wendy Cho. And when it was all said and done, it happened again. We had an upset. Dakota Kai, Wendy Cho, or Wendy Cho, I should say, going to the finals. They advance 10 minutes and 42 seconds. All right. Here's the thing. This is that strange Bedfellows moment that we talk about. And already they made it to the finals. And now you're starting to think that, oh my God, could they actually win the whole thing now? You got to start thinking that way. This is a miracle run. And I think the biggest person who's more shocked about making it this far is Dakota Kai. She's going to be partners with Wendy. You could tell. But here they are. And for Dakota, she's now one win away from winning the Dusty Classic 2 years in a row. Remember, she was Raquel Gonzalez last year and they won the whole thing. Now Dakota is one win away from being the first woman ever to go all the way and win 2 Dusty Classics. Nobody has ever done that in the history of the Dusty Classic. So, can they do it? We'll wait and see. This was a solid opener. I could give this easily 3 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
You had it right before, MF. Wendy Chu. That's her name, not Wendy Cho. It's Wendy Chu. And
I'm getting there.
You're getting there, yeah. So, but anyways, 3 stars for me. I was leaning towards 3.25, but I'll tell you my reasoning in just a moment. Surprising result from a fine match due to the toxic attraction attack. Raquel Gonzalez never really got to do much here. This left the focus on Cora Jade versus Wendy Chu, which showed off 2 interesting performers still learning their craft. Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu have an interesting dynamic, but not one that needed to dominate the Women's Dusty Classic. The captain of Team Kick is not quite selling this odd new gimmick, as it does not feel like something she should have to sell. She was a good wrestler with a good gimmick before. But nitpicking aside, 3-star match. I'll go as far as to call this the sleeper fight of the night. So not really much more to say on this. Michael Bullock, another match in the Women's Dusty Classic and another bracket buster. What an upset.
Yeah, like you said, it was because of toxic attraction and that Dakota Kai and Wendy Chu are moving on, and
we can have a moment from this.
I think you know why, Florio, why they did it, because they knew that Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez was a threat.
They know, and they know deep down in their hearts and their souls that they couldn't beat Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. Can you argue that point? Hell no, you can't.
I knew you were going there with that, but yeah. So, and something tells me that Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez are not going to take this lightly, and you know they're going to get some payback on toxic attraction for that. So, but anywho, Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai move on. So 3 stars is the rating. So Fletch, let's move on.
All right. With that said, now we move on to the next battle of the night. This one we're gonna just blow right by. We're not even gonna go too deep into this one. This is Tiffany Stratton going one-on-one with Fallon Haley. Tiffany and Fallon actually won the match in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. This was kind of one of those moments where Saray got involved and distracted the referee, and that opened the moment for
Yeah, it appears that MF is having some issues here. He's been like cutting in.
There we go.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. I don't know what happened there. It just froze on me. Sorry, guys. So Grayson Waller versus LA Knight. Grayson Waller is the last man standing, 16 minutes and 1 second. Anthony Florio, wow, what a match.
Which match was this once again?
Grayson
last man
Waller.
Grayson Waller and LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last man standing.
All right. First off, the young lady who pulled the upset, her name is Fallon Henley. I don't think she's any relation to Don Henley. I don't think she's in any relation to him. But little inside joke there. But as far as this match is concerned,
very much for watching this video and what could be another video from me.
Bullet, mute your mic. All right, yeah. You were throwing me off there for a minute. All right. This was easily the best match between LA Knight and Grayson Waller. The two benefited from a more chaotic environment in which they could battle throughout the NXT 2.0 set. The camera did not always catch the best angles, but the pacing was consistent in a match type that can often be awkward. It was the right move for the loudmouth to pull out the win. He is likely to stay in NXT 2.0 for a while, with Knight maybe headed to the main roster after WrestleMania, maybe Raw, maybe SmackDown, I don't know. While Waller barely won, he won clean by the rules of the match. I will give this between 4 to 4.25 stars. I can make an argument for one of the fights of the night. Definitely in my top 2, no question about that. So you may not like the outcome, but boy howdy, what a match it was. So really not much more to say. Michael Bullock, I know this is one of the outcomes. I know this is one of 2 outcomes that you were not fond of. The other one we'll get to in a bit that you really are not fond of. But this one here, he won. Technically he won clean by the rules of the match. 4.25.
Yeah, technically he won the match by rule of it, even though, quite frankly, I still don't like it that he had someone like Senga basically being one of the reasons why Grayson Waller won the match. So, what did you give it, Florio?
4 to 4.25.
Yeah, 4.25. I'm going to give you that as well. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say, Fletch. It is yours.
Yeah, 4 stars for me. This was excellent. There's really nothing more to say, but yeah, now we move on to what undoubtedly was the second half of the second match, the semifinal of the Dusty Classic, as it was Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray versus Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. Io and Kaylee Ray wins the match, 7 minutes and 59 seconds. That means it will be Wendy Chu. Did I say it right, Florio? Wendy Chu? Wendy Chu
Yes.
You got
and
right.
Dakota
You got
Kai. All right, Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai versus Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray next week for the Dusty Cup. But there was also one other thing that happened after the match. Yeah, Mandy Rose was pretty happy with the dirty work from earlier tonight. Next thing you know, Cora Jade show up and took her on and put her on the couch and beat her up. It wasn't until Blade and Efo trying to get a Hellcat of a skater girl off the NXT Women's Champion, man. But I'm with the commentator. Let them fight. Bullock, it's yours. This was insane.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. So, 2.5 to 3 is my rating on this match. I mean, the outcome to me was never in doubt when it comes to Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai winning this one. So, yeah, and like you said afterwards, with Cora J going after Mandy Rose, and yeah, so who knows what's going to happen out of that. So, but anywho, 2.5 to 3, Fletch, looks like we got our finals set up.
Yes, we do, and we'll probably get that next week. And then on top of that, it looks like Cora Jade and Mandy Rose might be on the collision course again for the NXT title. And the way Cora went after her right on that couch, man. Oh my God, I could not believe those boys let that happen right under their noses. I was like, what was that, like Gustavo security guard work or something? Come on, fellas, you're supposed to be better than that. Protect the champion at all costs. Oh no. When you get an angry skater girl like Cora Jade, and especially after what happened earlier in the semifinal of her match, oh no, you knew there was payback coming. So yeah, obviously this is a hard match for me because I love Casey Catanzaro. I like Kaden Carter. My little love affair with the Scottish Scream of Scott, the Scream Queen of Scots with Kaylee.
Scary Queen of Scots.
What?
The Scary Queen of Scots.
The Scary Queen of Scots. Kaylee. And of course, I got a thing for Io Shirai. I love her body of work. I think she's amazing as well. So, I mean, yeah, man, there's really nothing more to add here. So, solid match, about 2.5 stars. Anthony, the finals are set, but also we might have ourselves a match for the NXT Women's title. Mandy Rose and Cora Jade might be on a collision course now, especially after what Cora did.
Absolutely. Fun little sprint. I'm giving this 3 to 3.25 stars. Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter are the best women's tag team in WWE, but it's a shame they remain so underused. As the rare established team in the division that threw together multiple tandems at the last minute, the two should have had a better shot than they did. However, much like on the main roster, NXT tends to prioritize individual talent over tag team cohesion. The match here was great, with 4 great superstars in the ring working overtime. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray are great individual wrestlers, though they still have work to do as a team. The Genius of the Sky and KLR seem the most likely at this point to win the Women's Dusty Classic. It would add one more accolade to the legacy of one of the brand's greatest in Shirai and set up an easy story for Stand and Deliver. So, not really much for me to say here. I'm going to give this, like I said, this is definitely a 3 to 3.25 star match. It's a fun little sprint. That's all I can say about that. So, did Bullet go or?
I did go.
He actually started it.
Okay. All right. So Bullock started it. So 3 3.25. Let's move on.
All right. Then we had Imperium versus MSK. Now, all right. Now, wait a minute. Everybody's wondering. They're like, wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to be the Creed brothers? Isn't it supposed to be for the NXT tag team titles? Yes, it was. But earlier in the night, the Creed brothers got jumped. Now, we don't know who is responsible for it. And there's a lot of rumors that it was Legado del Fantasma. There was talks that maybe it was Imperium themselves that jumped. But for what reason, the Creed brothers were out. And MSK, the runners-up in the Dusty Classic, they got the shot at the NXT tag team titles. Well, the fight gets thrown out in 5 minutes and 33 seconds because the Creeds came back and beat everybody up. They were pissed, and rightfully so. So this is an automatic NA. Sorry, guys. Can't do anything with that. So next up, we had the main event, the triple threat, as it was Braun Breaker, Tommaso Ciampa, and Dolph Ziggler for the NXT Championship. The winner of the bout in 12 minutes and 24 seconds. Michael Bullock, you might want to mute right about now. Anthony Florio, turn your volume up. And new NXT champion Dolph Ziggler. I don't believe it. A Monday Night Raw talent just stole the NXT title.
What was that, MF?
My
what was that?
God.
What was that?
Huh?
Say that again?
Oh.
A Raw talent?
Okay. A Monday Night Raw talent just took the NXT Championship.
Well, like, I love you and I respect you more than anything, but I'm sorry, I got to do it to you. I normally do this to MF, but ha 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 ha, Jesse laugh time.
Wow! Wow!
Wario,
I don't believe you just did that.
Wario, in the immoral words of Mr. McMahon, shut up!
Just
You know
having
what?
some fun.
You know what? I was expecting that too. Oh man, I was expecting that. Wow. All right.
Damn, that was fun. That was fun.
Whoa.
Now it's time to get serious.
All right. Look, let's say it. I think we're all shocked that this was the outcome. I think we're all shocked that Dolph Ziggler won the NXT Championship. That was a big upset. That was a big moment. No doubt about it. That was incredible. The body of work was actually very good, and I could give this easily 4 stars. The thing is that, this was a big moment for Ziggler. And of course, Anthony, you also alluded to it that you opened the door about it and you said more Raw talent is probably going to be heading off to NXT and NXT might be heading off to Monday Night Raw. Well, now there's a reason. Now you got Dolph Ziggler, a Monday Night Raw talent, holding the NXT Championship. Now you're going to see guys from NXT possibly going to Raw and going after him. And you might see it vice versa with guys from NXT, where guys from Raw is probably going to go through the proverbial door and go in NXT. So for what it's worth, with everything that happened, that was it was a solid main event. So nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it is yours. And you know what? I'll do it just for you. I know Bullock is really going to hate me.
Monsoon, hit me with it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. History has been made at the CWC. We have ourselves a new champion.
Oh, man, it felt good to do that Jesse laugh, man. Ha ha. But, all right. Serious business first. This was one way to ensure fans pay attention to NXT. Dolph Ziggler's win was a shock, but a huge moment for the brand. He managed to manipulate his way into the perfect situation in which Robert Roode could help him steal the NXT championship from Braun Breaker without pinning him. This comes off as the full circle invasion of NXT that the show-off promised. He beat the best in NXT and took his first singles gold in years. He may not be on the WrestleMania card, but he's guaranteed to be at Stand and Deliver. The contest was really good throughout and showed what Ziggler can do with both men. Breaker is likely to do everything in his power to reclaim the NXT title, and it's likely he will do it at Stand and Deliver, no matter what Tommaso Ciampa has to say about it. I think a rematch will happen at the earliest possible date, and that rematch will take place, I likely believe, at Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania Saturday, April 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern start time, 12 p.m. Dallas time, from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. So, wow, what a moment. A shock and awe moment, to say the very least. And with Michael Bullock being the voice of NXT, I know Bullock would have been screaming, no, no, no. And then I would have said, new champion of the world.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, you were screaming, no, no, not like this. And then when that 3 goes down, you just yell out, damn it. And then I'm like, ha, ha, ha.
I would have been like, oh my God, the landscape of NXT has changed forever.
Yeah, it has. But for right now, I know it's only going to be for a few weeks. He's very likely going to be a transitional champion. He'll hold it for a little bit. But I think Breaker will very likely regain the title at Stand and Deliver. That's the way I see it. But for right now, as a Raw guy, you better believe I'm going to enjoy this. So, oh man, what else is there to say? I mean, 4 to 4.25 stars. This is the other fight of the night, along with that Last Man Standing match. Although I'm leaning a little more towards the Last Man Standing for fight of the night, but this is right up there. So, Owen Bullock, in case you're wondering, it's only fitting that on that last night, and we saw him clearing up close. Dolph Ziggler's big girl panties, he had red ones on. Only fitting he had raw red panties on last night.
Oh man, Florio.
You know me and Bullock. You know that's our running gag about Dolph Ziggler.
I know.
And that's the other thing that disgusts. And that's the other thing that disgusts me about Dolph Ziggler being the champion.
Yeah, he's a raw talent. So
he's a raw talent. Yep.
Raw, the NXT Championship for the next few weeks is now is going to be property of Monday. Is now exclusive to Monday Night Raw, thanks to the show off Dolph Ziggler. Probably,
and thanks to assistance from Robert Roode.
True.
The glorious Robert Roode.
It was the dirty dog that got him.
Yes, indeed.
The dirty dogs work together to commandeer the belt.
But yeah, from a funny haha perspective, it's a funny moment. But in a professional sense, this is going to create intrigue because remember, Bullock, what have we been talking about? The Raw and NXT crossover, and we took a major step with that here, with this title win. And I know you're very much against it. I know you hate it with every fiber of your being, and you have every right to. But I mean, I would have felt the exact same way if the role was reversed. Hey, let's not forget about a year and a half ago when Sasha Banks, a SmackDown talent, stole the Raw Women's Championship. You remember how heated I was about that. But thankfully, all was right in the world after that.
Oh, and I remember I was giving Florio the business on that, too.
Yep, you were throwing the gorilla, oh, I love it, bit in my face.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep, that's MF's equivalent to the Jesse laugh. The oh, I love it, like Gorilla would always say. But yeah, with Bullock being the lead, when that 3 went down, I mean, as the count was going down, Bullock was screaming, no. And then when that 3 goes down, he just yells out the biggest damn it you ever heard. And then I would do the new champion of the world. Ha ha. And MF would be like, as the neutral would be like, oh my goodness, what did we just see? So, but anyways, all kidding aside, great match, 4.25. Not much more to say. Michael Bullock, I mean, you saw the spot where those where Dolph Ziggler's red big girl panties were fully exposed thanks to Ciampa. But sorry, man, your worst nightmare has become a reality. Big girl panties is now taken your brand's title, your show's title to my show. Ha ha ha.
Oh boy. I mean, really? I mean, I get it's part of the whole thing with Raw and NXT, but you give it to someone from the main talent like a Dolph Ziggler. I'm sorry, but I know some people would like it, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't like it. I mean, yes, this was a good match. This was a 4-star match, but I'm sorry, but I'm crying foul over this one. I mean, the legacy of that NXT championship. I mean, we've had so many great people. I mean, so much great talent hold that title. I mean, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't know if you guys are how you're gonna feel with what I'm about to say. This is like a carbon copy of what we saw at WrestleMania 36. Remember what happened then?
Charlotte Flair when Charlotte Flair won the NXT Women's Championship from Rhea Ripley. I think Charlotte was a Raw talent at the time as well. So this is the second time this has happened to you, Bullock. But don't forget. It lasted a couple of months. It was at that In Your House event where Io Shirai brought it back home for your brand. But
But I'm gonna make a statement right here, and I don't know what I'm about to say, how people are gonna view this, but to me, the NXT Championship is dead to me. I mean, you go and give it to someone like Dolph Ziggler, and the way Dolph Ziggler won it with assistance from that other piece of crap, Robert Roode. I'm sorry. This I just simply cannot accept it. I'm sorry. I mean, it was a good match, but I just hated the outcome. Sorry, that's just how I feel. Fletch, please, just take it before I explode even more.
All right. Look, I get where Michael Bullock is coming from because he is one of those heart of the NXT, and this is a tough moment for him. I can openly honestly understand why he's so mad, because it's like you said, whenever a title is taken from one show to another, oh yeah, we will be a little annoyed and we are a little angry. So I get it. And like Anthony says, I'm normally the neutral of the group when it comes to this. And I feel for Mike Bullock right now. I know how he feels. You know? It's one of those moments where Floyo's got a right to gloat. He does. I hate to say it. A Monday Night Raw guy now has the most prestigious title on the Black and Gold brand. The Black and Gold brand, that belt, that NXT title, now belongs to Dolph Ziggler. Hook or by crook, whatever you want to say, this was a solid main event. And it was a very good match. We'll wait and see how it plays out down the line. But my God, what a moment. History being made. New champion. Yup. There's really nothing more to say. So, Mike Bullock, quickly your thoughts, and then we'll get into AEW Dynamite. So, give me your final thoughts on this show. Bullock?
Bullock, are you there? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, I was just recuperating from my little rant here. So
yeah, no problem, man. Overall review, you started off.
Look, this was to me, I thought it was a good edition of NXT Roadblock. I mean, I'm gonna give this maybe 6.5 to 7. I mean, there are some things that I think that could have been better, but all in all, I thought it was a good edition of NXT Roadblock. So, Fletch, it is yours.
I'm actually agreeing with that. I'm going to give it 7. I thought it was an excellent show. 7 out of 10. Nothing more to say. Yeah. And Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Grace, last man standing by a smidge was the fight of the night, although that NXT title match was just as amazing. Shock and awe moment with the new champion Ziggler now taking the title to Raw. I mean, big moment there, like it or not. And big development in the Women's Dusty Cup and some other big developments. It looks like we're heading towards a triple threat for the tag team titles with the Creeds, MSK, and Imperium for Stand and Deliver. That's what it looks like from my perspective. So, but don't worry, Bullock. Don't worry. He's gonna get his comeuppance. Don't worry about it. It's probably gonna be a Stand and Deliver. I think he'll lose the belt there. So it's only gonna be for a few weeks. So You'll be all right. So with that being said, let's move on to a very newsworthy edition of Dynamite. And I do mean newsworthy.
All right, and indeed, we'll start it off. Normally, we don't talk about promo segments, but we do need to talk about this. Chris Jericho, there was a lot going on. It ended up where Jericho and Jake Hader basically has now teamed up with Daniel Garcia in 2.0. That was kind of the thing that ended the whole thing. Shocking turn of events. But, now we go into the first fight of the evening, as it was Dante Martin going up against Adam Hangman Page. That AEW World title on the line. Hangman wins the match in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It was a fun little sprint. Nice matchup to start the show. Well done, to say the very least. Champion remains champion. Anthony, I'll give this about 2.5 to 3, so it's yours.
What was that time again? 7:30. 7.5. 2.5 to 3. Fun little sprint. The match between Hangman and Dante looked damn good on paper, and while it was a bit too short to reach its full potential, it was a fun World Championship bout that highlighted how far the challenger has come and gave the champion another quality victory in a series of them. The 6-man tag on next week's show is interesting because Adam Cole was either referring to the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, or even a potential turn by Dark Order, who have seen their stars dimmed following Hangman's victory. The mystery surrounding Cole's partners is a nice hook for the next handful of days, even if the most likely scenario is Matt and Nick Jackson joining their former Bullet Club teammate for that match. So 2.5 to 3, fun little sprint. Michael Bullock, what an opportunity for Dante Martin. I mean, this came out of absolute nowhere. I didn't see this match coming, but what a fun surprise.
Yeah, it was a nice, fun surprise here. I mean, Dante Martin getting an opportunity at the AEW World title, but a nice effort by him, but just too much of Adam Hangman Page. So 2.5 to 3 for me. I mean, it was a nice, fun little sprint here. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So let's move on.
Meph, are you there?
Next up we had was Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley going up against the Workhorsemen, JD Drake and Anthony Henry. It was Danielson and Moxley winning the match in 4 minutes. We don't really need to go into that. Then there was a promo by Mr. William Regal. That pretty much said everything that needed to be said. So we're going to move right on along. We had Pac versus Wheeler Yuta. Pac wins the match in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. We can move. If you guys want to talk about it, we can. If you don't, then we could just move right on along. It's up to you guys.
Nothing really interesting to speak of. I mean,
yeah.
What do you say, Bullock? Not really. Yeah, not really.
Not really. All right. So with that said, then we had ourselves a promo segment that had Andrade El Idolo and Matt Hardy. They were kind of having a war of words. And the next thing you know, Matt Hardy got booted out of his own crew. Private Party, Butcher, and Blade start beating him up with Andrade El Idolo. Then you had Sting and Darby Allin. They jump out to help in the fray. And then Brother Nero, I knew you come. Yes, Jeff Hardy is now all elite. Jeff Hardy debuts, much to the delight of everyone. Anthony Florio, holy freaking crap. Jeff Hardy is here. Where's Dee Dee Woodson when you need her? Because you know she would have been absolutely going bonkers over this.
I know she doesn't do this show, but I if she was watching, I mean, we don't know how her work schedule is nowadays, but
oh yeah,
but I know.
When word gets to Dee Dee, she's gonna go nuts.
Yes, because if you haven't been watching our show, it's over these last several years. It's well documented. Dee Dee Woodson is a major Hardy Boys mark, and Lita as well, Team Extreme. I mean, huge fan of theirs, and rightfully so. What a moment. Jeff Hardy arriving on the scene, complete with the Hardy Boys music, interestingly enough, was a great moment. We knew it was coming, and it still popped the crowd, a testament to the perpetual popularity of the brothers. Their reunion should lead to some truly epic encounters in AEW and a few dream matches to boot. Cool moment that brought Jeff into the fold and it's going to earn a very high rating from all of us based on his eagerly anticipated debut. And today was the exact day his non-compete clause expired, because when you get released, typically there's usually a 90-day no-compete clause, which means you can't work for anybody else for 90 days upon your release. Well, today that clause expired. So Jeff Hardy had every right to be there tonight, and he took full advantage of it. So what a moment. And you want to go there? Let's go there. Michael Bullock, Jeff Hardy's there. You know what that means? The Hardys are back, and that's going to mean green beans for everyone.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And it's going to be wonderful. Delightful. Yeah.
Yes.
I cannot believe that just happened. Really?
Come on, MF. Aren't you going to throw your little moment into this?
I don't think he is, so I think we better just move on.
No, you know what?
Fade away,
I guess for this one, I'll just say, you know what? I'm just going to fade away and classify myself as obsolete.
Yes. Michael Bullock, how wonderful and delightful is this? The Hardys are back together again. Yes.
And there's a certain someone that I know that's probably excited about this one, and that's my my cousin Tori, because she's also a fan of Jeff Hardy. So yeah, so it's not just CM Punk that she's a fan of, but also Jeff Hardy. So
and they're in the same company again. Remember their history from WWE.
Oh yeah. Hardy and Punk. Oh man,
summer of 2009. Think about that.
Oh yeah, need we say more? So yeah, I mean, we knew that this was going to happen eventually with Jeff Hardy going to AEW, and this was the perfect outcome for it to happen. I mean, yeah, I mean, the Hardy Boys back together, and so yeah, I mean, it looks like they're going to feud with Andrade El Idolo and his group. So it looks like he's taking control of that group now. So yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to say. So Fletch, it's yours.
All right, and the next thing that we had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus put into AEW World Tag Team titles on the line against the Acclaim, and it was Jurassic Express successfully defending the titles in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So, Anthony Florio, quick thought on this victory.
Solid 3-star match, and the two young teams had the best match of this show to this point. A dramatic and action-packed bout that further put over what is the strongest division in AEW. The Acclaimed has repeatedly stepped up and shown out in these big match situations. They rise to the moment, and that is why they continue to get television exposure and are widely considered stars of AEW's future, even though I cannot stand those annoying raps they do. I put it on mute when they do that because it's very annoying to me. But anyways, Jurassic Express retaining was the right call. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are always over. They are immensely popular, and their in-ring work has been second to none of the last year. They have great chemistry, an even better dynamic, and perform like champions. With heel teams making up the most likely contenders, they are the perfect set of champions to chase right now. Solid three stars for me, maybe 3.25 for this. So Michael Bullock, great, a nice fun little sprint here for the World Tag Team titles.
Yeah, it was a fun little sprint here. 3 stars is my rating on this one. I mean, the outcome was never in doubt. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So, Fletch, let's move on.
All right, we're just gonna try to fly a little quicker here. We're almost there, guys. We got 2 more matches left. Thunder Rosa and Layla Hirsch. The winner will earn an AEW Women's Title match down the line. Thunder Rosa gets the opportunity, wins it in 8 minutes and 50 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
2.5 to 3 is my rating for this match. So, yeah, now Thunder Rosa gets another opportunity at the women's title. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3, solid match. Rosa gets another shot at the title. I know a lot of people are going to be like, again, but it also plays into the narrative. Remember, Layla Hirsch got involved. Layla Hirsch did pick a fight with some other people, and I do believe it was Red Velvet that helped out, that actually got there. So yeah, so it looks like they're going to do Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet, and yeah, so nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 3. This was perfectly acceptable wrestling from a great in Thunder Rosa and a young star in Layla Hirsch, continuously establishing herself as a threat to championship gold in the future. The revelation of next week's match, a main event worthy bout that should bring about the end of Britt Baker's title reign, was perfectly timed. It sets up an emotional homecoming, the latest chapter in one of the great women's rivalries in AEW history, and a match that will have every opportunity to be as good as the Lights Out match at the same special edition of Dynamite 1 year ago. Whether they can actually deliver on that potential is the question. Next week, gentlemen, homecoming, or I should say St. Patrick's Day Slam, Freeman Coliseum, San Antonio, Rosa's backyard practically. We get it one more time, but gentlemen, this time it's going to be inside my favorite, a 15-foot high steel temper cage. Let's go, MF, go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And now we're into the main event of the evening, as it was Scorpio Sky going up against Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Winner of the bout in 11 minutes and 35 seconds. And new TNT champion, Scorpio Sky. Okay, Michael Bullock, it's yours. You were mad about the NXT. Boy, you were boiling when you saw Scorpio Sky win this belt for a number of reasons. Go ahead, bro. It's yours.
And this time I'm with him on this one.
Oh, yeah. I'm in agreement with the two.
Yeah, well, obviously, first off, number one, my hatred for Dan Lambert, because now it's Scorpio Sky is the new champion. Dan Lambert's going to be bragging like a braggadocious bastard that he is. I mean, and then Paige Van Zandt being a distasteful little bitch with what she did. I mean, not only attacking Ty Conte, but also signing the contract on her. Those things really rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, what was the time of the fall, Fletch?
I got 11 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah. To me, I mean, this was between 3.5 for me. So, yeah. Now we gotta, Fletch, as I give it to you. Now we gotta deal with that loudmouth Dan Lambert bragging about it. And Flory, you want to talk about putting the mute on when it comes to the Acclaim and their rap? I'm going to have to put the mute on whenever Dan Lambert has the mic. So, Fletch, it is yours.
You might only have to muting Dan Lambert for maybe 1 week, because remember, now Wardlow has to fight Scorpio Sky next week for the TNT title. So who knows? This might be a transitional thing more than anything else, but we'll see. All right. Now, as far as this match goes, this was definitely fight of the night. This was an excellent match. This was 3.5 stars. Yes, there was a lot of interference, but Sammy Guevara was his own worst enemy on this one. going for, I believe it was a 720 flip, crashing through the table, and that was the beginning of the end. At that moment, I knew his reign was about to end, and sure enough, it did. So, heck of a match. But the minute he tried to go for that double moonsault and crash through the table. At that moment, I was like, "Oh my God, Sammy! What? Oh my God, Sammy! What have you done?" Because the way he went through that table, I was like, "Oh no, he's done. He's gone." And sure enough, minutes later, he loses the belt. Heck of a performance, heck of a match. But damn, Anthony, nothing to say. This was about three and a half fight of the night for me, but you kind of knew at that moment when Sammy went through the table after he missed that move, you're thinking, uh-oh, we're about to have a new champion.
Yep. Scorpio Sky is so good and has been so underutilized that one cannot help but be thrilled by the SoCal export. A great professional wrestler whose pushes have been inconsistent, to say the least, he has more than earned the opportunity this victory presents him. It would have been nicer for it to have come on the heels of a stronger push or even the slightest bit of momentum on his side, but here is to hoping he can finally find traction as a singles competitor. The storytelling here was very strong, with Sammy Guevara's penchant for flash and high risk proving his undoing. He was gutsy and resilient, fighting through devastating rib injuries to remain in the bout late, but Sky, in the presence of his cohorts at ringside, ultimately proved too much for him to overcome. The most interesting development of all of this is the recognition of Ty Conti as Sammy Guevara's girlfriend, despite not previously being acknowledged on AEW television. It does give them an established relationship in front of the cameras now, and the opportunity to compete against Paige Van Zant and Scorpio Sky, with Ethan Page sprinkled in moving forward. But no need to worry about Scorpio Sky. I'm going to go on the record right now. He's got to defend that title against Wardlow next week. Yeah, that's going to be a transitional reign. I believe in my heart of hearts, Michael Wardlow is going to be your next TNT champion.
The only way Wardlow does not win the belt is if MJF screws him over big time. Yes. That's the only way Scorpio Sky's walking out with this belt, because even for me, I'm even predicting that Wardlow wins the title next week.
Based on his push and the momentum he has? To me, I'm gonna be honest with you. Michael Wardlow, in my opinion, I consider him to be. I think he could be the next Dave Batista.
Agreed. Agreed.
He's got that look of a Batista, and the upcoming rivalry with MJF is going to be a lot like him and Triple H. Or you could also make the argument of $1 Million Man Teddy DiBiase and Virgil. So that's really all there is to say there. So 3 1/4, 3 1/2. This was definitely the fight of the night. I 100% agree. So what a way to cap off this very newsworthy edition of AEW Dynamite. So let's get to our overall reviews here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I will lead it off here. So yeah, I'll lead it. Look, excellent show. Solid 8.5 for me. Really nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
More like 7.5 to 8. Some of the matches could have been better, but it was definitely a newsworthy show, to say the very least. Of course, the big news item, of course, the arrival of Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy, to AEW, which was very heavily expected, especially today, with this being the day his non-compete expired. So his non-compete is now done. He fulfilled it. So now he's free to be in AEW now. Good for him. And I can't wait to see the Broken Hardys back together again. I cannot wait for that. That's going to be hella fun. A nice little feud with, I guess we can call it now, the Andrade family office now. So that'll be very interesting to see. And Hangman and Adam Cole have unfinished business. No question about that. It looks like it's going to be Adam Cole and the Young Bucks going up against Hangman and Jurassic Express. That's going to steal. That's got show stealer potential, no doubt. But next week, we have potential for not one, but 2 title changes next week. Yes, we are predicting Wardlow to become the next TNT champion based on his push to momentum, but MF threw out the caveat. If MJF sticks his nose in, gets involved in any way, that's the only way Scorpio Sky will escape with the belt. But one title belt, one title switch, I definitely have the utmost confidence about. And if you disagree with me on this, fine, whatever. I believe in my heart of hearts, especially with that steel temper cage stipulation. I believe Thunder Rosa is going to be the next AEW Women's Champion. Especially with that gorgeous new belt that they have, which I believe is their best ever women's title belt to this point. Love that new belt. Absolutely love it. I didn't even notice it until Sunday night. And when I saw that, I'm like, wow, that is gorgeous. 7.5 to 8, Michael Bullock taking home.
Yeah, 7.5 to 8 for me. I agree with everything you guys just said, so there's really nothing more to say except let's put a bow on this night, Fletch.
All right, we will indeed. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow, guys. Now, Strictly Sports was just going to be mainly focused on just the NCAA conference tournaments. But let's just say the last 72 hours has been absolute insanity in the NFL. Boy, did the NFL wanted it to get on this show in such a unique way. Well, welcome to the party, boys. You just found yourself a spot on Strictly Sports. Anthony Florio, hit us with the knowledge for tomorrow.
Not one, not two, but 3 bombs, all involving superstar quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz. That's all you need to know when it comes to that. And we will talk about the NCAA conference tournaments, the major ones, the Big East and the ACC, and all the of course that's the double main event right there. My Big East Conference, MF's ACC. We'll get into the others like the Big 10, the Big 12, the SEC, the Pac-12, the Atlantic 10. So it's a nice little appetizer for a very big show come Sunday night, and MF's going to hit you with that future content in just a moment. So with that, is it the usual time tomorrow, MF? Or
I mean, we could start it at 10 o'clock if you want, guys. Make it a little more easier. It's up to you.
Oh, okay. Why don't we do that then?
All right.
We'll right after Impact Wrestling goes off the air, we'll do the Strictly Sports at 10 p.m. We'll start with the 3 quarterback story in the NFL, the 3 big quarterbacks I just mentioned, and then we'll dive in head deep with the conference tournaments, and we'll save the best for last, the Big East and the ACC. So for our main events, because those are our conferences. So like I said, that's going to be a nice appetizer Sunday. That's all I'm going to say. So, all right, MF, hit us with the rest of that future content.
Then also we got Strictly Sport. After Strictly Sports, of course, Cerebral Smack Talk, SmackDown Live, and then we also got Rampage as usual at 11 o'clock. Then we're doing it all over again. But there is something special. Sunday night, 6 p.m., the NCAA Division I Men's College Basketball Tournament special right here on the show.
Just like last year.
68 has the dream. We will reveal the bracket as it happens live. That's right. No fakeness, no nothing. We will reveal the 68 as it happens exclusively on this channel, on YouTube and StreamYard. We'll have it all for you guys. This is the one that really hit last year. We're hoping it'll be even bigger and better. After the bracket is revealed, we will openly predict who is going to win the national championship. So with that said, nothing more to say. Then of course Monday night we do it all over again. For Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you